Hi, this is Jonathan Rizal and I'm coming over with your 3.2 in this video for your Perang Dunia Pertama. We're going to talk about the background of it, like why was World War I a thing, and we're going to touch a little bit on the things that happened because this is not as important for your exams. They usually won't ask you this. Then to berakhir, that means how did it end and when it ended, what were the kesan, what was the effects that it left. So before we jump in, let's go a quick recap on what chapter 3 is about. Chapter 2 we talked about nationalism, all things nationalism, and chapter 3.1, which I have a video on, is bridging the gap between 2.8, where we said about the kesan, which means the after effects of having nationalism in our country. Then it led to 3.1, where we were still talking about what happened, which was an emphasis on the British introducing new rules which would eventually run them over for how they took over Tanah Melaya. So we're going to go through this in 3.5 all the way to 3.9. So for now, let's come to the World War I, which does not involve any Asian countries, only only countries on the Europe side, okay, Europa, of the Barat western sides. So this happened from 1914 to 1918. How important are the dates? Okay, let's just run through with it. Okay, 1914, 1918. So let's come to why did World War I occur. Now, the history of World War I is really, really long. Our textbook is purely touch and go. It's purely to dip your toes in and then leave. So they try and summarize it to you all the way on page 54. Okay, tell you, Perang Dunia Pertama berlaku dalam kalangan negara di Eropah. Ini give you contoh, termasuk Empire Uthmania. Antara faktor yang mencetuskan Perang Dunia Pertama termasuklah persaingan kuasa imperialis, pembentukan pakatan ketenteraan, dan konflik, or over here you can write crisis, di rantau Balkan. Okay? So Balkan is a place, rantau is the BM word we say for around the area. Okay. Now, first, persaingan kuasa imperialis. Let's jelaskan this, right? Persaingan, that means the competition between your imperialistic powers, okay, so like countries. So first, why was there competition in the first place? Well, perkembangan revolusi industri. Does this ring a bell? You should have memorized this in your form 3, where the British came over to our country because of the revolusi industri, menyebabkan persaingan kuasa imperialis di Eropah. Now, after having the revolusi industri, what happened next? Mereka bersaing. There's your keyword here, bersaing. Competing untuk mendapatkan tanah jajahan. For what? Why do we want more land? What's wrong with the land in Europe? Well, the land they want in particular is to help with your revolusi industry, and you need a lot of raw materials there. Thus, mereka bersaing mendapatkan tanah jajahan bagi memperoleh, to obtain, 获取, memperoleh bahan mentah. This is my symbol for bahan mentah. It's a very ugly leaf and a rock. Bahan mentah seperti arang batu, which means your charcoal. Wait, is it your charcoal? If I'm not wrong, it is. Your coal, then petroleum, dan biji timah, your what's it called? Sikwang, your tin. Okay. Dan memasarkan hasil industri. Okay. So this is your second point for like memasarkan. That is your word, memasar. Masarkan comes from the word pasar, okay, so that means to market things. Now, you're gonna notice a trend right here with bahan mentah. It is what I have now dubbed as the Chappelle Rowan. That's not how you say her name, but for funsies' sakes, this is your Chappelle Rowan, right? Everyone wants Chappelle Rowan, aka your bahan mentah. Thus, when we have the bersaingan, when we're competing for the same thing, there's only a limited amount of bahan mentah in the world, especially when they're not in Europe. You have to go to different countries. Thus, berlakunya, so they tell you, persaingan tersebut membawa permusuhan. Permusuhan means, well, musuh, the word means like enemies. So permusuhan means rivalry. Membawa, why am I reading the same thing again? Hold on. Permusuhan antara kuasa imperialis di Eropah. And they give you a contoh. Example, France and the German. It's okay, it's a quick example. Touch and go. So that's the first factor. Now the second one is directly relating to this. So once we're competing, once we don't like each other, okay, we have the permusuhan, just like French, just like they tell you Perancis dan Jerman, we don't like each other. Thus, permusuhan antara kuasa Eropah membawa pembentukan pakatan ketenteraan, forming alliances, military alliances. Thus, like this man with the gun. So, pakatan ketenteraan, there were a few, most notably two pakatan you should remember. Pakatan kuasa tengah, that means the middle power, middle strength. Then pakatan bertiga. Okay, so for kuasa tengah, all the countries involved, they tell you first, kewujudan pakatan ketenteraan menyebabkan, or you can also swap it to like mengakibatkan ketidakstabilan, the instability of politics in Europe. Continuously, berterusan. Thus, you can imagine with everyone drawing alliance, forming groups and gangs, and not being friends with each other, it caused a lot of drama. Thus, the politics of their European countries were absolutely not stable. Thus, what happened next? Seiring dengan persaingan mendapatkan tanah jajahan, related at the same time of fighting to get tanah jajahan, to get your Chappelle Rowan, remember? Sorry. It's not funny. Okay, tanah jajahan untuk mendapatkan bahan mentah, negara dalam pakatan turut bersaing menghasilkan senjata moden. Let me just do this. It's an eraser tool. Senjata meaning weapons. This is my symbol for weapons. It's a very ugly sword and a very ugly gun. Modern dan sedia berperang, to fight each other, bagi mempertahankan kepentingan masing-masing, to fight for their honor, their importance, because they're all very, very insecure people to think that this is how they get their honor. But there you go. The three reasons here. Your menghasilkan senjata modern, then to your kepentingan lah, to have your own honor, mempertahankan your own honor. Then finally, it is to get your tanah jajahan. I'll just write T and H and J. Okay, then for your pakatan kuasa tengah, what are the countries involved? Let me give you a quick run through. The main countries you should know is, of course, your German, then your Austria-Hungary, which I will just put as AH for now, Austria-Hungary. Then other countries like, these two were the first contenders. So German and Austria-Hungary were first. Then came along countries like Bulgaria. And then, arguably, I think a little bit easier to remember is Empire Osmania. If we were to pick three to memorize, okay, if you can't memorize all of them, I would pick German, Austria-Hungary, and Empire Osmania. Why not Bulgaria? It's because all these countries you have a relation. Later you will learn about World War II, where it's very, very prominent for German. And later the next reason for the crisis Balkan is all about Austria-Hungary. So there you go, the connection there. And for Empire Osmania, you've already learned this in your chapter 2, Nationalism. So it's just easy to form the connection. But that's up to you lah. Maybe you also want to memorize Bulgaria. So coming to your pakatan bertiga, what were the countries involved? So we start the first members, the first countries in. We have your Britain. Note we call them Britain here, not British or England. So Britain. Then we have Perancis. And then Russia. And then we have more countries at the back. They tell you, okay, then we also have parties that are supporting them, yang disokong oleh Serbia. Serbia is one you can also remember because this is later related to the crisis di rantau Balkan. Then Italy, Romania, Portugal, Greece. I think if you were to memorize again, Italy is also important because you will see this in World War II. This one, you already see this in World War I. For Russia, it's just overall big influence. Perancis, you can remember that German and Perancis are on opposing sides because we just stated here they don't like each other. Then Britain, I have Britain lah. I would remember Britain because like such a prominent aspect for Malaysian history. Now, coming to our next reason. Now that we have these alliances, what happens when these two alliances go against each other, when we quote-unquote threaten each other? So, apa yang berlaku? Krisis Rantau Balkan. So, what is the sebab? Krisis di Rantau Balkan berlaku akibat permusuhan. So over here, remember permusuhan, your rivalry, you hate each other. Okay, not just Germany and Perancis. Permusuhan antara Austria-Hungary dan Serbia, or dengan Serbia. So Austria-Hungary, what did they do? Menuduh. Menuduh means to judge, means to point fingers at, means to blame. So I'm going to write tuduh for now. Tuduh Serbia as menghasut. Menghasut means to provoke. This is a very strong word. Please remember this. Menghasut. Do not replace it with different words. Menghasut. You provoked rakyat Austria berketurunan Serb. That means people of Austria that have a Serbian bloodline supaya berjuang membebaskan diri. Okay, wait, I'll put this down here. Membebaskan diri, to free yourselves from pemerintahan Austria-Hungary. So what does this tell you? That, well, Austria-Hungary, that means that Serbia is currently a part of Austria-Hungary, and they're trying to free themselves. They're trying to get their merdeka, membebaskan. But this, well, is not going well. That's why they have a whole, what we would call rivalry. Then comes the real tip. So this is all like tension boiling up. But what really, when compost hits the windmill, what really happens, the Kemuncak crisis. So I will draw this. Your puncak. Kemuncak means a tip. So what is the real climax of all this? Well, when a certain assassination happens. Pembunuhan. Pembunuhan. Let me draw a gun. So someone killed. Okay, no, that looks like someone. That looks like self-suicide. Hold up. Aha, there we go. Pembunuhan Archduke Ferdinand. Who is this man? Why is he so important? Well, judging by his name, you can already feel the importance running off him. This is your putera mahkota, your crown prince, meaning the next in line for the throne. Yang Austria-Hungary dan istrinya Sophie, let's include the woman because, well, women matter. So, oleh seorang pemuda Serbia. Okay, they don't tell you who this is. You can go find out themselves. This is not some random man. This is a very organized. There was a plan basically, and it just so happened that this young person happened to be the one who assassinated the crown prince. Now you can go into it yourself. Since I'm just trying to be quick for your revisions, this is all you should know. Peristiwa tersebut menyebabkan atau menjadi sebab Eropah terjerumus. Terjerumus means to almost dive in, clash land into kancah Perang Dunia Pertama. So that is your 3 reasons. Number 1, let's go recap. Alright, here's my highlighter. Okay, persaingan, we don't like each other, we're fighting for bahan mentah, tanah jajahan. Then we have alliances, and through those alliances we form enemies. Okay? Then we've already just kind of latar belakang. Now we're going to a small part known as your peristiwa. Peristiwa meaning what happened. This one is just I cannot speak anymore. This one, peristiwa, things that happened, historical events are just timelines. Okay, they're very repetitive, and if you look over at the end of your chapter, page 87, you can see a very simplified version to understand this, which is where you have like how many people here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 people here going in this sequence where it's, if you lay hands on Serbia, I'm going to do this. If you lay hands on Russia, I'm going to do this. Sorry, I've done the wrong order. The country over here is Serbia. So let me use my blue pen for this. Serbia. Then over here it is Austria-Hungary, Russia, Germany, then Perancis. So how does the order go? So for Austria-Hungary, Serbia says, jika kamu sentuh, kami akan. If you touch me, we will. And then that's when Austria-Hungary says, if you do something to us, we will do this, we will attack you. Then Russia goes, if you attack Serbia, I will attack you. And Germany goes, if you attack Austria-Hungary, I'll attack you. And Perancis goes, if you attack Russia, I'll attack you. You feel me? It's a continuous chain. That's why so many countries were involved, because they were part of the alliances. So let's go give a quick run through, having this image, like a mental image in our heads. So they tell you on the 28th of July, when Czech started happening, alright, 28th of July, berlakunya apa? Austria-Hungary dengan sokongan Jerman mengisytiharkan perang terhadap Serbia. This is right after the assassination. They were like, okay, that's it. We're having war with the support of Germany. And on the 30th of July, which is 2 days later, Russia beri bantuan ketenteraan, gave military support to protect Serbia. Now, on the 1st of August, which is like how many months is that? A few months later, German mengisytiharkan perang terhadap Russia. Okay, Germans like, okay, that's it. Now we're going to war. Then pada 3 Ogos, which is 2 days later, German mengisytiharkan perang terhadap Perancis yang I can't speak, yang menyebelahi. That means that supporting your Russia, which is German menceroboh Belgium untuk menyerang Perancis. So that means, right, when German was like, okay, that's it, I'm also going to war with Perancis, so like that. Yeah, I'm going to war with both of you guys to attack Perancis. They can show you on the map. I don't have the map with me, but when you look at the map, you can see that the way German went to France was passing through Belgium, and thus British was pissed. The British people were like, hey, it's the British, okay, like, hey, Belgium's my friend. Thus, on the next day, 4th of August, Britain menyertai Russia dan Perancis memerangi Jerman yang menceroboh Belgium. Then, on October, 2 months later, Empire Uthmaniyah joined your gerakan pan-Islamisme country, menyertai peperangan dengan memihak kepada kuasa tengah on the side of your Austria-Hungary and German. Kuasa tengah, the middle power. Then on March, Italy menyertai Perancis, Britain dan Rusia dalam Pakatan Bertiga. And finally, on April 1917, Amerika Syarikat menyertai peperangan dengan memihak kepada Pakatan Bertiga. The person that settles the entire war is this one special country, your Americans. So let me just do it like that. Amerika Syarikat, okay? When America came, I mean, the war was already in a whole mess. Everyone hates each other. We don't even know what we're fighting for at this point. That's when America was like, okay, guys, that's enough. Let's end the war. And thus came an end to your Perang Dunia Pertama. But since it's the first war, we know that there was a second one. So let's go to understand what happened next. Give me a green color. Thank you. So, when it ended, berakhirnya Perang Dunia Pertama, all these countries fighting each other, it's a mess. What are we fighting for? We don't know. Well, penglibatan Amerika Syarikat dalam perang membawa kejayaan Pakatan Bertiga. Your Amerika Syarikat was your MVP, essentially. So, let me do this. MVP. That ended the war with the side it's supporting being Pakatan Bertiga. Okay? So, this is your side with your Russia, your French people, your Perancis, and your English people. So German dipaksa menandatangani gencatan senjata, means to ceasefire. This is a word I will put over here. Hello, gencatan senjata. This is a word you cannot change. You cannot change it to like, berakhir perang. No, you have to say ceasefire. That's the official word. Beberapa siri persidangan dan perjanjian damai diadakan. A lot of meetings and contracts regarding about peace happened yang memberi kesan kepada negara di Eropah. And thus, with America being your MVP, they were known as the kuasa besar dunia. Kuasa 最大, okay, 大佬 dunia. Okay, you got it? So, coming over here, we have two facts we need to know. We said there was a lot of persidangan and a lot of perjanjian. So, let's go through them. First of all, your persidangan damai Paris happened in French. It happened in French. Happened in France. Okay, so, your persidangan damai Paris, I cannot read words anymore. Paris diadakan pada 18 January 1990, which is a year after the World War I ended, untuk membincangkan syarat perdamaian selepas perang, to talk about peace after war. Okay, so that is your first word, membincang. Alright, bincang only lah. Bincang, syarat, your terms and conditions. Okay, what do we do so that everything is alright? Okay, no more war. Wink wink, foreshadowing. Tujuannya untuk memastikan Jerman tidak lagi menjadi ancaman kepada keamanan di Eropah. It is so that Germany will no longer be a threat, ancaman, in Europe. Now, you might be wondering, why is this all directed to Germany? I mean, there were quite a few countries involved. See? over here, quite a few countries involved. Why are we focusing only on Germany? Well, we are only going through a brief through. There's a lot more things that happen in your history. But just looking at the information here, we already know that German kind of started quite a lot of things. I mean, by supporting Austria-Hungary, let me use a different color. By supporting Austria-Hungary, then announcing war on Russia and your branches, and also bypassing Belgium at the same time, your Germany was stuck in quite a few conflicts that were very self-caused. So this is how you can understand it. If you're curious, go look it up yourself. Then, after this, bertujuannya to show that Germany is no longer a threat. Persidangan tersebut melahirkan deklarasi. This is your keyword, right? This one, I'll use it red, yellow. Deklarasi 14 perkara Woodrow Wilson. This is a man, this is a president of America, of Amerika Syarikat. So, sebagai asas perdamaian, as the peace building block, peace beginner, peace asas. Okay, deklarasi ini merangkumi dua prinsip utama, two important principles, also very important. Come, buckle in, guys. The first one, penentuan nasib negara oleh rakyat sendiri. Let me put a little star here. Okay, penentuan means that you get the determination, right? Determination of the fate of a country is in the hands of who? The king? No, it's in the hands of you and me, rakyat sendiri, the people living in the country. Then number 2, sempadan negara. Sempadan meaning the borders of a country. Okay, it's like if we have, like, for example, here's a very fugly map. Okay, Malaysia. On top, there's Thailand, right? This thing is the border. It's obviously not as smooth, but this is the border between Thailand and Malaysia. I would do fine for Singapore, but Singapore is quite literally, this big gap is your sempadan. So that's what I'm talking about when we say sempadan negara. When we stop considering one country as another, has to be determined by the people. Berasaskan, give me my pen. Berasaskan bangsa. Okay, this is important because you're gonna see this rule very much go to chat. No one obeys this rule. Then we go on to our next, Perjanjian Versailles. I actually don't know if it's pronounced like that, but I like saying it like that. So fight me. Perjanjian Versailles on 18th June 1990. So this is like 6-7 months afterwards. So German dikehendaki, let me put a big capital for German, needs to bertanggung jawab terhadap kemusnahan akibat perang. Okay, so I'll just write tanggung jawab lah. Tanggung jawab. Kemusnahan, that means of the destruction that happened during the war. Kemusnahan. Number 2, perlu membayar. Membayar. That's my economy sign. I'm just gonna do this. Money fly away. Give it some wings. Membayar pampasan. Pampasan means like we can't say warfare, but like the cost that went, the cost for war. So like your military, your medicine, your medical shed, and the war shed, stuff like that. Destruction, reconstructing of infrastructures, all of that. They have to pay to Pakatan Bertiga. Remember how many countries are in Pakatan Bertiga? A lot. So that was a lot of money, you can imagine. Then the next point, mengehatkan. Mengehatkan means to control, to constrict the size of their military. So I'll put hatkan, your military size, angkatan tentera. And finally, menyerahkan wilayah dan tanah jajahan kepada Pakatan Bertiga. Okay, tanah jajahan we know lah for your Chaparral, for your bahan mentah. But for your wilayah, that's a different case. Because you see, tanah jajahan is colonized land, but wilayah is German's own land, like land of Germany that already started being in Germany, has to be given away. So you can imagine, how would German take this? Not very well, would they? This is a very confusing emoji. Hold up. They did not take this well, and you will see why on World War II. But let's continue then. Perjanjian Versailles juga menetapkan penubuhan Liga Bangsa-Bangsa. This one also quite important. Liga Bangsa-Bangsa. Okay? Untuk menggalakkan, to promote, to increase the keamanan dan kerjasama antara bangsa. Keamanan meaning, the peacefulness. Honestly, this word I've been explaining like so many times. And kerjasama, the working together of the entire world. Well, they say antara bangsa here, but really, this is just referring to Europe. So we're zooming out, and that is all about World War I. Is it? Wait, no. At least all about how it ended. So this one, right, we're gonna see for your 3.2, ketidakpuas hati your German terhadap perjanjian Versailles, because this was quite a lot for one single country to bear. So let's go on to the kesan. Now that the war has ended. And now that the war has ended, what happened? So over here at your kesan, 3 things. Number 1, most notably, keruntuhan pemerintahan beraja, the ending of what we would call the monarchy systems. So here what they tell you, Perang Dunia Pertama memberikan kesan besar, and your Perang Dunia Pertama menamatkan sistem pemerintahan di Jerman, over at Germany. Okay. Austria-Hungary, these two kuasa besar, then your Russia, which is in Pakatan Bertiga, and then another country in your kuasa tengah is your Empire Uthmaniyah. Okay, how so? Kerajaan Republik Jerman didirikan apabila Republic means there's no king, remember? We talked about this. Republik Jerman didirikan apabila Kaiser Wilhelm II kedua terpaksa turun takhta dan mendapatkan perlindungan politik di Belanda. Your Kaiser Wilhelm II was forced to move down the throne. Turun takhta means the throne, and had to receive political protection all the way in Holland, in the Netherlands. Empire Austria-Hungary di bawah pemerintahan Dynasty Habsburg. That's your keyword here, Dynasty Habsburg. Berakhir, it's over apabila timbul pemberontakan di wilayah yang dikuasainya. When there was pemberontakan, meaning rebellions happening, and clearly they had no ability to take care of them. Dan revolusi yang tercetus di Rusia menumbangkan pemerintahan beraja Tsar Nicholas II, dan kerajaan komunis pertama di dunia terbentuk di bawah pimpinan Vladimir Lenin. So, come over here. One special for Russia is that going from pemerintahan beraja, they had your communist parties. You're gonna hear a lot about this, right? Communism. Then, Khalifah Empire Uthmaniyah Sultan Mehmed this is 5-6. Ke-6 digulingkan. This one. Digulingkan, we've seen before, where your Revolusi Perancis, where we kicked out your Raja Louis XV. Then it's happening here with your Sultan Mehmed ke-5. Dan kerajaan Turki bercorak republik diketuai oleh Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. They put his picture in the textbook, quite nice. So these are the few factors for keruntuhan pemerintahan beraja. Then, it is still relating to this part. Once the monarchy system fails, what happens next? Well, some countries are separated. First, kemunculan Empire Austria-Hungary melahirkan, well, most notably Austria-Hungary forms Austria and Hungary. But also many other countries like, I cannot pronounce this. You should read that yourself. I don't want to butcher their name. There you go. And Yugoslavia. So, perpecahan Empire Russia, I was gonna say breaking down, quite funny, yeah? Empire Russia membawa ke countries like Poland, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. So just pick from all these, pick 2 to memorize. For me, Poland. And I would say Estonia is the easiest to remember. Then finally, your perpecahan Empire Uthmaniyah brought to 3 countries. Okay, let me just... Empire Uthmaniyah brought to countries like your Lebanon, Syria, and Iraq. That's it. This one, small facts, nothing much to talk about. Then to our final point, kesan terhadap negara kita. Because remember, we always have to come back to our own country. So, bagi menyekat kebangkitan orang Melayu, to stop, to put a halt to the orang Melayu, the local people, the Malay people from rising up. Raja-raja Melayu, your kings, okay, your kings, raja-raja Melayu diminta menandatangani peristiharaan perang yang menyokong dan memberikan taat setia kepada kerajaan British. That's right, your British were like, yo, if this can happen, if so much that can happen, I need to make sure Tanah Melayu don't betray me. So they were like, hey, sign this peristiharaan perang yang menyokong dan memberikan taat setia, where you show your loyalty towards the British Kingdom. Dan pelbagai undang-undang yang berkaitan dengan perang diluluskan oleh pentadbiran British, termasuk of the first one, the undang-undang. Okay, the first one being memperuntukkan kuasa Pesuruhjaya Tinggi British untuk meletakkan negeri Melayu di bawah undang-undang tentera jika keadaan memerlukan. They passed the laws where now for your British government system, your Pesuruh Tinggi, which is the person in charge, you can already hear from the name, right? Pesuruhjaya Tinggi. Okay, British boleh put negara Melayu, you can place these Malay states under the military laws if needed. When is the keadaan memerlukan? Well, World War II lah, your Japan come in. This is the foreshadowing. Then, kemakmuran ekonomi negara Melayu juga dimanipulasikan. Always this negeri, your economy was manipulated by the British. How? Wang hasil biji timah dan getah digunakan untuk membiayai operasi British dalam Perang Dunia Pertama. That means all of the money you got from selling your biji timah and getah meaning your rubber, was used for the operation of Perang Dunia Pertama, because the British was very much involved trying to support Belgium and all. So we come to a full stop to this, alright? Before we completely end, we used to tell you on the side, antara undang-undang berkaitan dengan perang yang diluluskan. This one, read up on yourself. I'm just going to read through. To vest in the high commercial exceptional power in time of public emergency enactment 1914. This one is especially important because they used this during the World War II. The Trading with Enemy Enactment 1914, the Naval and Military News Emergency Enactment in 1914. That's it. Okay, so coming to the end, Perang Dunia Pertama memberikan iktibar kepada kita kepentingan keamanan dunia. If the textbook wants to teach you anything, where do I put this? I'll put it here lah. Use a different color. Okay, use this red color. It teaches you about keamanan, how important it is to not fight over shit, to not fight, honestly. Keamanan dunia, namun begitu perdamaian dicapai hanya bersifat sementara. Why do we say that? Because although temporarily berakhir, we did have Perjanjian Versailles that was for your kedamaian, your peace. But did it hold for long? Absolutely not. Why? Well, some people were not happy. They were very, very pissed. So there you go, that's your World War I. Let's go a quick run through what the 3 reasons that it happened. Persaingan kuasa imperialist, they were fighting for tanah jajahan during the revolusi industri. Thus, they wanted the bahan mentah. But because not everyone could get them, they started hating each other, permusuhan, rivalry, thus forming their own little groups. Over here, as you can see, 1 group, 2 group. Then when you have groups, when these groups started fighting, they brought to the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand, which eventually just boom, caused your World War I. How? Because as you can see, it went through a chain like this. And you can know the main cause of everything is your, hey, this is German, is your Germany being just a little bit more active than these other countries, okay, poking hands everywhere. Then we go on to how it ended, which is with your MVP, America Syarikat. They showed up and were like, bang, 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 it's over. So, 2 things that caused, they wanted to keep the peace. For German to have their Genjatan Senjata, your ceasefire, Persidangan Damai Paris, then your Perjanjian Versailles. This one is especially important because you see this in World War II, because the Germans were not happy with this dumb rule, not the dumb rule, but the crazy amount of things demanded of a single country. Then the kesannya after World War I ended, there was the collapsation of plenty of monarchy systems like Germany, Austria-Hungary, Russia, and Empire Uthmaniyah, with some countries from republics, some from communist countries, and some just kicked out their whole king. So, kemunculan negara baharu, Austria-Hungary formed Austria-Hungary, this glorious country, and Yugoslavia. Is it Yugoslavia. Then for your empire, for your Russia, from Poland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. For Empire Uthmaniyah, Lebanon, Syria, then Iraq. Kesan for our country, the British were like, hey, please sign your taat setia to us, okay? And then, okay, if you ever need us, right, we have some laws for you, okay? You know, you have your undang-undang yang meletakkan negeri Melayu di bawah undang-undang tentera, militaries, if needed, jika keadaan memerlukan. Then, our economy was manipulated. Why? Because they were using our hasil biji timah, manipulated hasil biji timah and getah to do what? To support the operasi over here. Okay? So that's it. Bye bye. I will see you for World War II.